Hi everyone, welcome to another LLM themed video. So after my very quick video of, well, yesterday, where I was sort of just going through how you can quickly install Ollama and then use it to download and run DeepSeek R1. It was just a very quick how-to video. So I was having one or two problems on my main machine yesterday. As a consequence, I've subsequently ordered a new Wi-Fi adapter because my old one was getting very old and was long overdue to be updated. And I was sort of hanging on in there, and really various Windows 11 updates have sort of pushed it over the edge now. So a new one is on its way, but you know, the machine's still functioning fine until that arrives anyway. And also I was able to install and run Ollama on this machine I'm using at the moment, having previously successfully installed it on my laptop. One other clarification here, I think yesterday when I was talking about it, I was talking about PowerShell, and really what if you're on Windows, whatever it chooses to run in once it's installed is dependent on how you've set up your sort of default terminal, or whatever you want to call it. So on my laptop it happens to be PowerShell as the default. On this machine I always go with just good old Windows command prompt, just force of habit really. There's a laptop with the setup, I set it up like that because I want to do some other stuff on it around PowerShell. So yeah, and a few other things here, just again full disclosure, so we can sort of see what's going on. This machine, it's a pretty basic by today's standard. It's a, what do they call it, like bog standard HP ProDes 600 G4 with not an awful lot of hard drive space in it. This is an old business model, so when I retired, my old firm gifted me a couple of these because we were getting rid of a whole load of stuff and nobody wanted them. Everybody wanted laptops, so we had a storeroom with them in for a while, and I took a couple of them off their hands on the way out, so they very kindly gave them to me. And so I've got them all nicely set up for different things, but very useful. 16 gig of RAM. This is the processor in it, so that's all we're running this on. I'm going to run this in a moment. This is my slightly tweaked prompt, which is very similar to the one that I've been using for the Programming Polyglot project. So yeah. But what I'm doing here is all my polyglot programming stuff where I use LLMs for that. So I've been using Copilot, but I've recently started using the online version of DeepSeek, which is sort of how all this started. And I also use the online version of Google Gemini now within the last week or so, because I was having a bit of problems creating content for alng. It's fine with Lisp as I was going through some of the legacy languages, so worked great with Fortran, COBOL, Lisp. Got to algol 68 using algol 68 Genie, and things started to get a bit murky with the LLMs, so I started using other LLMs to sort of cross-validate the code, and I was quite impressed by what a good job DeepSeek was doing. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to download it, and that's why we're here today really. So yeah, just 16 gig of RAM. This is my sort of current usage with everything that's running, so obviously this will change, but overall there's 16 gig of RAM in here. No shenanigans with the hard drive. This is just stock hard drive as it left the factory. All of this is stock. The machine's not been modified in any way. It's not got any fast flash shenanigans on it, where you get those modern solid state drives which have a partitioned area of super fast flash memory as well to make it even faster. So it's sort of faster equivalent of what they used to do back in the day, where you had like an area of old school hard drive, and then a solid state section, like a hybrid drive. There's now there's been these hybrid ones for quite a while now, which have the solid state portion, and then have the smaller portion as like a super fast flash memory. So yeah, it's not one of those. Okay, at least I don't think it is. No, actually I know it's not, because you have to install some software to get that to run, and this model, it would have predated when we started having those delivered at the firm before I left. But this machine is well over, it's probably about 5 years old now actually. I think the flash drive might be on the way out as well, the solid state drive possibly. So I might have to do a bit of surgery on it. So there you go. This is what we're running. I've already installed Ollama, and I've already run this command already. And if you run Ollama without DeepSeek R1 in it, it goes away, downloads it. So when I run it again, we'll just get straight in to this. Yeah. In actual fact, as you can see, we've got send message there, so we're sort of ready to go. There. In fact, we might escape out, and I'll show you actually what happens when you first go in. Yeah, so we don't need that, do we? That I'll take off screen because I need to copy paste that. Again, just out of curiosity, if anybody's curious, this is when I ran. So I ran the web-based Microsoft Copilot, same query, same prompt. Keep calling it query, same prompt, and this is what it spat out. So I think you're going to be interested by the way that DeepSeek run locally does this. It doesn't do it the same way if you run the web interface. At least it didn't when I was running it recently. I don't think that's changed. You can see there's the help. If you want to get out, it's just buy. Okay, and as we saw, to run it, it's just that. Starts up, this goes around and round and round. This is the thinking symbol on this. So think, ready to go. So, as you saw, there's the help, and there's a nice prompt here. You know, if you're wondering how you do like multi-line, because we're just running this inside of the command prompt. You could code up a fancy front end for this, but I don't really want to at this point. I'll probably get around to doing it, start messing around with things, try the models in Ollama, and we're just gonna come in here, go right click, boom, close it off. If you've used other programming languages, you may have come across using, 3 speech marks for comments. I think it's used in some languages for like documentation sections as well, like multi-line documentation sections. Anyway, I digress. So let's see what happens. I think you're going to like this. If you like this sort of what's going on under the hood stuff in your large language models, then here we go. So okay, so I need to complete this template about Simula, a programming language. Let me see what's already provided. Okay, oh, I can hear my fan spinning up there. So what it should do, I did a bit of a test run, is it will do this almost like, what do you call it, like train of thought with itself. So it's talking to itself. I can identify with that. So talking to itself, and in a moment it'll switch from talking to itself to actually creating an output that's not dissimilar to what we saw if we copy paste our text out of Copilot, which is what this is. Whoops. Oh, come on. There we go. Here we go. So still conversing with itself. So of course this is quite a bit slower than if I was to run this in Copilot, or if I was to run it in the online interface of DeepSeek. But I actually quite like this. We'll give it a try in a moment with actually getting it to generate some code, because it's interesting what it does with code. So I'll see if I can do that. I don't know how fast it's going to be. I've got a prompt that I used yesterday. So here we go. So here's our overview. So yeah, here's the thing. It's saying 1967. Now, if you look at the Wikipedia article, and you also look at the one previously that I created in Copilot, it's saying 62. What's happening is it's getting confused or prioritizing facts differently, because it's thinking, you know, that Simula, if you download or run Simula or have anything to do with Simula, you'll see Simula 67 mentioned a lot. But if you look on Wikipedia, you'll see that the creation date in the Wikipedia article is 1962. So I'm going to just question that in a moment. So do I notice? We'll see how it responds to being contradicted. So I notice you mention 67. Now, of course, again, caveat with this, you want to fact check everything. This is more a video just sort of showing you this interesting sort of train of thought process that's going on when you download and run this model locally. The other thing here is this is obviously running a pretty condensed down, what they call it, distilled model. I think there's various levels of distillation in this. When I did it, I didn't tell it to do anything. It just downloaded the default model that's on the Ollama. I think you can also choose other models as well, which are slightly larger for DeepSeek, but this is just the one that it took. So obviously, when you do this through the online portal, my point is you're going to be probably dealing with a bigger model. So I noticed you mentioned 1967 in your answer. I was under the impression that Simula was originally created in 1962 and Simula 67, we'll give it an out, came out in 1967. So let's see what it does. I like that little swirly thing. It's thinking. Of course, this is, like I say, when you do this online, things are a lot faster. But part of the fun is being able to kick the tires locally and just see what's going on. I think I'm going to have fun playing around with this a bit. And, while I'm waiting for that to correct itself, if indeed it does, I'm just going to try and find my other more complicated one from yesterday. Oh, here we go. Okay, so the user pointed out an inconsistency in my previous response. Let me think this through. Okay, there we go. So, now again, you'd have to check this, you fact check it against the actual history. And when I get around to doing, I haven't recorded it yet, but I'll do reasons and resources on the Simula at the appropriate time. I've got some interesting videos that I've tracked down that I'll sort of talk about when I do my reason and resources episode on Simula. Yeah, again, I'd have to check, if that was true or not. I mean, I think my understanding is just corrected as Simula. They didn't preemptively call it that, but yeah. Anyway, it started to. Oh, look, see, it's modified this here, which is pretty cool. And sometimes you can be more helpful as well. I wasn't being particularly helpful there, was I? Let me just see if I can. Yeah, this next one is quite complicated, so we'll give it a go. I might be being a bit unfair with it, but we'll see what happens if I try and do this. Right, so we'll try this one now. I'm going to jump programming languages. I don't want it to attempt this in Simula. It's a bit unfair. So we'll try jumping this, I think. Let's do this. So this is another one. So substitute X in the following request for the programming language scheme. One of the main paradigms and idioms in X. Can you create a function in X which calculates greatest common denominator values? So the reason for doing this originally, before I really knew what DeepSeek was doing, and I think it'll probably help in this instance, is to sort of create a preliminary internal dialogue. I often use this trick when I'm generating code, is I'll get it to chat a little bit about the language before I dive in, just to prime it. So that's my logic behind doing that. This might take a little longer, but this is a faster machine than my laptop. I've already run this. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so it's going quite fast here for it. So already it's trying to work out, well, how am I going to process this prompt? There we go. 3 questions about it. Is that 4 questions though? 3 questions, no 4, like Monty Python. Answer me these questions 3, no 4. Okay, Euclidean algorithms. That's interesting. I didn't mention that, but it knows that GCD, you can use the Euclidean algorithm as the classic way to do that. So it's thinking about writing a recursive function using the modulo operator. So let's put this all together. Okay. Now it gets interesting in a moment if it's going to do what I've seen it do before, which is where it tests the function itself almost, which is amusing, and starts refining the code. But anyway, I'm curious if it behaves the same way as it did the other day. I need to read a couple of papers on this as well. I've downloaded the papers that I think, they were recommended on a. So just before I really started dabbling with this, I watched a computer file episode on it. They just put one out recently. So that seems to me my go-to channel for checking out stuff like this. See if they've done one, and then go from there. Here we go. So we're getting our scheme thing going on. Oh. So the test thing I found interesting because the way it was done, if I ran this in Copilot, was slightly different. Obviously everything just got dumped out. But what it was doing is, in DeepSeek, it was almost like as it went through and they said, oh, hang on, I wonder if I do some test case and you know, like it's 0 and 5 and it's a minus and that sort of thing, and then it was trying to refine the code. Here's negative numbers for so. Okay. So it's going to be interesting here if it did what it did. There's quite a number of test cases. I think it only did 3 last time. There we go. So that's interesting. So yeah, I got a bit more of a to and fro when I did it one time before. I think I showed you yesterday on screen what happened. Let me see if I can find that. It should be in here actually. Let me, what did I do with that? But yeah, I'm finding this fascinating. Can you give me... Yeah, I don't know whether... I may not have kept it. No. Oh well. I did show it up yesterday in the previous video, so you can always watch that to see what I'm talking about there. But I thought it was so pretty cool. And as I said, there was what happened last time I ran it is when it got to this point, it almost had a change of heart, tried another algorithm. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I found it. So where are we? There was a piece, the bit I'm talking about is in the middle. Yeah, so yesterday, so here you go, it started doing this and then got to here and was talking about testing the function and then modified it like that. And then said, oh, I should do it this way. And then had another bit of a discussion with itself. Did some more testing. I went, yep, we're good to go. So this time around is a little bit cleaner. There. Now, of course, what we would want to do at this point is obviously test this in a scheme interface, which I don't have currently at my disposal here. So I suppose I could go online and play around with it. I think, let me just see how quickly I can bring up a scheme compiler. Just one of these situations where I've just gone down a rabbit hole that I had intended on going down, but seeing when things were running so well, I figured why quit while I'm ahead. So let me just see if I can. So I need this bit. Here, oops. All this bit here. bring this over in a moment once I make sure it's working. Okay, so no errors for that bit, but we do need some test code. Actually, let's just do all of this. Should be able to do that. Yeah, 574. I'd have to clean the code up a bit, but just so you get a rough idea what's going on. I'd have to put in some line returns here. But yeah, so 5, 7, 4, 15, 1, basically. So I need to put in the appropriate code here to create a line return, line feed. But so just a quick and dirty way of testing that. So yeah. Oh, there we go. Let's do that. Let's just grab that. Save me typing it. And we should, if I copy that everywhere, and just bring it back over, execute it, bingo. There we go, that's better. Ta-da. Job done. Okay, so there we have it. Hopefully that was informative. Thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.